Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network, for the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews. Press 1.
Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. From the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network for movie talk, and the Schmoes Know, this is Meet the Movie Press, roundtable movie news and commentary from the industry's premier film journalists.
Well, good morning, Meet the Movie Presses. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds good to me. How you doing, Jeff Snyder?
Premier movie journalist.
I know. I always get a... What's going on? I think you...
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I know. We're on a little bit of
That was
delay.
me.
Yeah, that was you.
Guys, I like to watch myself in my own internet.
That was funny. That happened last night on the show. Anyways, guys, sorry for that. Welcome to Meet the Movie Press on the Popcorn Talk Network. This is Mark Riley, editor-in-chief of schmoesknow.com.
Jeff Snyder, film reporter, TheWrap.com.
And we got a great show. We got Jeremy Jahns in the house.
Double J.
Yep. Awesome-tacular. He is here, guys. You're on the live chat board. I'm looking at it. We're going to talk about a lot this week. But first, I want to just say hi to Jeff and to say congratulations to your Patriots.
Oh, thank you very much. What a game, Mark.
It was.
Yeah, JT.
He was waiting for that.
Fellow Patriots fan in the booth. Yeah,
We got two Seattle Seahawks fans in the room here, myself and Mr. Johns, and then we have, of course, Snyder and JTE.
Champions like myself and JTE.
Yeah.
Hell of a game. My heart sank there on that unbelievable catch.
I thought we had it.
Some guy made, and we'll never remember his name now because
just doesn't matter.
All about
Butler.
Malcolm Butler.
Okay, there we go. But congrats. That was a good game. It was a fantastic game. What did you think of let's bring it around to the movie press. What did you think of the trailers that dropped?
I don't know. I was pretty underwhelmed. There wasn't anything that grabbed me. Jurassic World felt like the same thing. It was good to get a longer look at Tomorrowland.
Oh yeah. Tomorrowland. That is slowly creeping up. Besides Star Wars and maybe I don't know. I think Tomorrowland now. I want to see more than Avengers. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm pumped for Tomorrowland.
Yeah,
so.
I can't wait for it.
They're doing a good job selling that one.
I know. Yeah, it looks really good.
You?
What did I like?
Yeah,
I liked the Jurassic World, but that's just. Speaking of my nostalgia, I see anything with dinosaurs, and I'm sorry, Chris Pratt wrangling the raptors. I went, okay, yeah, I want this. So I'm pretty easy, but yeah, everything else I was kind of like, and then I was at a party that it was pretty loud, so nothing, when the commercials hit, nobody cared. Like it was one of those parties where you're going out, you're getting drinks, you're getting food. Game starts, you watch the game, and
right,
then,
exactly. It wasn't really a commercial kind of party.
No, and I don't remember any of the commercials except Loctite, which because I have a good friend Pam Cook. Shout out to Pammy. She was in the Loctite commercial, and that did pretty well virally. I think it came the next day. Everybody was talking about it. So.
Got it.
So that was me and my time. So in your party, you were at a party.
Yeah,
at your place.
It was
Yeah.
Same old.
Okay.
A great queso dip.
Yeah. There you go.
I didn't make it.
Yeah. Good. Well, guys, we have a lot to talk about. We got some Star Wars news, Felicity Jones.
Yeah, let's dive in and let's have our guest on.
We are going to bring out this awesome-tacular guy. You guys know him. His name, of course, is Jeremy Jahns. Come on to the stage.
Didn't get the note that I'm the only guy allowed to wear cool T-shirts on this show.
Yeah, that's true, man. You cannot wear these cool T-shirts.
Reading Rainbow. That's pretty neat.
Rainbow. I had to. It was that. Well, thanks for having me on. First
of
all,
course,
man. I go
coming.
right into Reading Rainbow right when I come in. Yeah, they had the Kickstarter, and I was like, I can't imagine a world without Reading Rainbow. I got a gift, so I got a T-shirt and a couple of coffee mugs from it. So it's pretty sweet.
Nice.
I'm from Seattle, where sometimes we win Super Bowls and we love coffee.
There you go.
And they love reading and rainbows in Seattle.
There's a lot of that because there's rain all the time, right? So you have to stay in and read and then look out and see the rainbow after.
Yeah, and
that's how it started.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
That was a nice thing. It was the Bing Bang Boom right there. That was a whole plot. It was a plot of rainbows.
There you go. Excuse me, sorry about that.
Yeah, Mark just, he thought I was going to keep going.
I thought you were going to keep going.
This really awkward pause. Brought to you by Starbucks coffee.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of Seattle. So Jeremy Jahns is Jeff, and as you have met him before. One of my good friends that I met through the Schmoes. You've been just climbing the charts on your YouTube channel, so we're going to get right to it here.
Wow.
How many subscribers are you at right now?
It's like a 700. I want to say 706,000, something like that.
Jesus.
I know. He's a beast.
You can call me Jeremy.
He's a beast. And
Douchey comment, just one.
No,
always.
that was great timing.
no, you need to. You need to be proud of that. And so I want to go, because I don't know if a lot of Schmoville out there knows how you started. And you briefly said something last night to me where you had a different name on your channel. And you're like, oh, wait a minute. Before this goes any further, I better change it to was it to get your name out there or just kind of represent who you are?
Yeah, it was one of those things. I had a channel called Movie Man 191, and it was just I would just watch because you just wanted a YouTube channel and I liked movies, and someone took Movie Man.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, 191 is the like farthest away on the 10 key, so why not? There was 191 literally means nothing.
Okay.
And so I start doing movie reviews, and it starts catching on. I had like 600 subscribers, and I was like, all right, well, I don't want that to be my name. I'd rather have my name. And I swear to God, I had a YouTube account that was my name. I just didn't remember the password. And so I tried and I finally remembered the password. And so I got it. I was like, all right, well, if I'm going to do it, I'd rather do it now rather than do it when I have 1,000 or 10,000 or, later. So 600 is a pretty good time to do it. So I did it.
Yeah.
And it was a good time to be like, all right, what have I learned? What would I keep? What would I drop? What would I do differently? So it was just that kind of evaluation,
You got a great name, too. It's very alliterative.
Yeah. I like it. It rolls off the tongue. Yeah, Jeremy Jahns.
It does kind of do that. When I was little, I mean, even now, like no Jeremy's like in movies. It's always like, all right, let's see a Jeremy in a movie. I'm like, Powder. That's who I had. Jeremy Irons was cool, but like generally speaking, Jeremy's were like the nerds, which I was a nerd, so it completely worked out.
Nice.
But when you say it, it's like Jeremy Jahns. I was like, all right. I wouldn't change it or anything like that.
No.
I was almost named Quentin.
That would have been Quentin Jahns.
Quentin Jahns.
That's another good one that rolls off the tongue.
Because my parents couldn't decide on they couldn't agree, and so my mom was like, "All right, we're naming him Quentin," and my dad's like, "All right, Jeremy's fine."
Yeah.
So we really know.
We'll take it. Sold.
Right. My dad had no pull in that argument.
I was almost named Luke. And
Really?
When I found out later, because I was a huge Star Wars fan, Luke Skywalker, I went around to the neighborhood, tell everybody my name is Luke now. So,
Right.
But didn't work, didn't stick. And I'm glad you're here, man, because I have one fan that says the only reason he's watching the show right now is because of you.
Oh, well.
So thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, they're like,
What am I, chopped liver?
Yeah. They're like, all right. The Seahawks, thank you for your support.
I guess I have to watch Meet the Movie Press now.
Damn. Well, thank you for watching, man.
So getting back to it, you started this. You changed from Movie Man 191 to Jeremy Jahns.
Yeah.
How did you? Because it's interesting. You're in Seattle. How are you getting these? Are you now on press screenings? Are you now getting early? Because you have to. That's how you get your hits now. Is to get an early showing.
It's very competitive. Yeah. When I first started, I worked at the movie theater, and I was able to watch the movies before they came out because we projectionists had that luxury. And then I can still do it because they're like, they were always really supportive. Like, I've worked for companies like, don't have hopes and dreams. You're with us now, But they were always like, yeah, do it. This isn't like the theater's not an end game, It's kind of like between kind of stuff. So I still screen things there, but I do get into some Seattle screenings too. But Seattle, I say I live in Seattle for the sake of because no one knows actually the town where I live, so I just say it. But it's about an hour away from Seattle.
Yakima?
Yeah, no, but that's awesome that you know Yakima. I'll go there if I can, or if I'm like, all right, like I'll come to LA, so I'm like, all right, I should go screen that on Monday or Tuesday.
Right.
And then have it all cut together. I didn't get that luxury before I came here. They're like, no one wants to screen Tomorrowland and the Wizard movie, whatever. What's the other movie that's out?
Well,
Seventh Son, right?
Seventh Son and
the Wizard movie.
Yeah, they're no. I always think of a Season of the Witch, so I call it that. I see the trailer, I'm like, you're Season of the Witch.
Well, that was like shot, I think, in 1985,
right.
And now it's just coming out. That's what I heard.
Yeah, you'll see me as a baby actually early in the film. That's me.
I can't wait for this movie. So you didn't see Jupiter Ascending yet?
No, I haven't seen Jupiter Ascending or Seventh Son. Yeah, I have that luxury when I get back.
Did you see Jupiter?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Neither have I.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about it today, but
we're
all out.
Not hearing good things.
Yeah, right.
It's
Drew loved it.
Drew loved it.
Gave it a B+.
Okay. Well, Drew McWeeny You guys, if you want to tag him in a tweet, asking him to come on Meet the Movie
We need to
Press.
put the press on him.
Yeah, we gotta. Yeah, because he's
Not that we don't love Jeremy Jahns.
Of course, we love Jeremy Jahns. I'm just speaking from the.
While we have this asshole next to us, let's get someone else.
Hey, thanks for coming. Let's try to get another guest.
It's all good.
Yeah,
do what you need to do.
Drew's been trying to come on. The schedules aren't matching up, so we'll get him on sooner or later. So when did you notice, Jeremy, a snowball effect to your channel? Because I noticed. I mean, it just started to. I met you years ago, where you were with the Schmoes. You were both kind of. Where were you at when I met you? Probably maybe like 200,000 or something. I don't know.
When we met,
Yeah.
God, it was in the 10. It wasn't 200,000. It wasn't that yet. It was
Really?
in the. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was in like the. It was the tens of that. It was. I think it was less than 100. I have to assume it was less than 100.
Okay.
Which means you thought I was great because you think I'm great. Mark, I appreciate that.
Well, I did, yeah. And so, but I have noticed the snowball now. Now it's 700,000.
Yeah. How long did it take to build that though? Like, how long have you been doing this?
You start looking at it like by the years. Like, all right, by that first few months, I got 1,000. And then by the first year, I think I had 30,000. And then the next year, you start noticing the big thing, the thing that shot exponential growth to happen was there was the franchise, the game franchise Mass Effect.
Okay.
And the ending to Mass Effect, I did not meet a human who liked it.
Okay.
And so I was like, I think that's worth talking about. Not just talking about and ranting about, but there are things that I thought they could have done to make it better, right?
Okay.
So that was my video was called just like fuck Chris Pratt.
Okay.
Was just because you just want to get to the point. It was Mass Effect 3 ending and why we hate it.
Okay.
And so I did that, and that got a lot of hits very quickly. I was like, "Oh God!" Like
Wow.
people like
Gamers.
that. Yeah, and so but it was on the front page of I think BioWare or EA Games. It
Wow.
was like right because they make the game, and I was like, "Why on earth is it on their front page?" Right? It hit Reddit. I mean, just got a lot of hits, and then they end up patching the game, and a lot of things that were addressed were fixed. And so
Wow.
I was like, oh, crap. And an interview with one of the producers or the director of it was someone asked him, like, how'd you know what to fix? He's like, well, we watched a lot of YouTube videos. I was like, holy shit, I think that guy might have seen my stuff.
Wow.
So when I'm at PAX and video game conventions, I always like to go into the EA booth and be like, I'm that guy. I'm the one guy.
You're like, hi, that was me. You're welcome.
There were a lot of people that raged out about that, but that shot a lot of subscribers up, and it was right before summer. I didn't plan it; it just happened right before summer. So summer movies come out, and it all just kind of rolled together.
Now, one of the things I learned from the social network is that you don't get to 700,000 subscribers without making a few enemies.
I suppose not.
Well said.
Are there any like crazy fanboys or people who come at you online, trolls?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
kind of thing?
You definitely get trolls. You get those people. It's really weird. I saw. I don't think I can say everything that this person said on the show.
Probably not.
This kid friendly.
Yeah, it was one of those things where, like, this guy in his comment offended gays, black people, Jews.
Nice to be included.
Yeah, there had to have been.
So far, I guess I'm. Well, no. Okay,
I had to comment back to the dude, and I was like, I can't even be pissed about that. Like, that's just impressive that you hit so many demographics with one comment. Good job, sir. That's all you can do, though. I mean, sometimes it gets irritating, and I don't rage out on the people. I always kind of just break it down, because usually if someone's just spewing venom, there's not a lot of substance behind it, so you can just kind of deconstruct it right there,
Yeah, and it brings up something interesting that we kind of touched on before the show, which is, you are a part of the movie press out there, because you are now providing a review. People go to you for an opinion to color their opinion on whether they're going to go see this movie now.
All right.
Now, and I asked Jeff this happens to me, this has happened to you. You don't like a movie that everybody wants to like.
Yes.
A lot of hate comes at you sometimes, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Yeah, I've noticed that people, when they love a movie, it's like their sacred cow. So when they say, hey, review this thing I love, they don't. Not everybody. There are people who are like, I just want to hear your opinion. But there are a number of people who are like, I don't want to hear your opinion. I just want validation from mine.
Right, exactly. Just agree with me.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
And so it doesn't
wanna be
always work
right.
out that way. And so you're like, do you really want me to talk about this? Or
Do you feel like video reviews to the future? Like, people
Yeah.
aren't going to be reading and writing reviews so much as watching them?
Yeah, because it's a lot easier. Like, for me anyway, a video review when I was growing up would have been optimal, because I would like grab the newspaper. I'm like, I don't want to read this shit. You know what I mean? And so you'd read it and you power through it and you're like, all right, can I go to the end and see the stars? You know what I mean? Because it just gets kind of, it's not, for me, just a review is just reading a review anyway. I'm just like, it's not a story really. It's just talking about a movie, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like people more want to connect with the personality of the person reviewing. And so that's where video reviewing comes into play. It's like, oh, that's a person I gravitate to, rather that doesn't always translate on paper.
Okay.
So
that's
what I think.
I think too, with the culture we're in now, this mass consumption, everything needs to be very fast.
Yeah, it's like right now.
So if you get a really fast review, then I think the personality keeps you there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you like the person, because I've seen video reviews and I've just kind of moved on because I haven't liked them.
Mm-hmm.
Like the personality, I'll like maybe the review, but I think it's interesting. I think it's going there. I've seen blogs and big sites that I've gone to. I feel like Ain't It Cool tried that. They went to didn't Harry do a show?
Oh yeah, he still has the show. It's coming back.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's more for interviews and stuff.
Oh, okay. I thought, maybe it was something else. Maybe I'm thinking about something else. But I do feel like it's starting to happen.
Right.
We'll see how this goes. I am personally still love the written review. Just who I am.
Yeah.
I would read the paper like you said. Because I was this dork.
A good writer can get their personality on the page and
absolutely
don't necessarily need a video component for that.
And I've read written reviews and written content where I'm like, you can't actually translate that onto a video.
Right.
It's a different thing, you know. It's kind of like translating a book to a movie. It's like sometimes things just get lost. So there's like little subtleties that are in the penmanship that are, you know, you're like, just in the grammatical breakdown, you know, just like the vernacular the person's using, you're like, I like that, you know. And it doesn't always happen in a video. So
I think this is all interesting stuff. Should we jump to the news?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's jump to the
news break.
We're gonna do let's do real quick before you hit that, JT, because I care about the fans here. Hey, Joseph Johnny Hartwell out. I'm stopping right there because that's too long, dude. I didn't read your full comment when I said that he's only watching the show because Jeremy Jahns is on. That was a joke, tongue in cheek, dude. I know you're kidding.
Are people killing him right now?
Yeah, they're killing him.
Oh, don't kill him!
I gotta stop everybody.
This is a place of love
because we're talking about people coming after people on the internet. You get a voice. Stop it. Okay? Look, Joseph Johnny Hartwell, I know you, brother. I love you, brother. You're on Twitter all the time with me, so thank you for watching the show. I'm sorry I didn't read your thing. I thought it was really funny.
You're awesome-tacular.
Yes, absolutely.
Stamp of approval.
So, as we move on from that nice little segue, let's get a little hopeful news break, JT.
Herein are those of the hosts.
That's a good one.
What is he listening to while we're taping our show?
That's awesome. You hear that music, Jeremy Jahns?
I do. That's epic.
That is epic. That is Hopeful News Break time. Every Wednesday or Thursday, we drop a What Would You Like to Hear break out there in the movie press. There's a lot of stuff going around. Rumors, maybe speculation, maybe even Ryan Gosling in talks for The Beast.
Maybe not.
Later. Maybe not. But guys, on the Facebook page, Meet the Movie Press, on the Popcorn Network, you can drop in your Hopeful News Break, and we got a lot of good ones here. One of them that I really liked that I want to get, you kind of perked up, and I'm going to, you guys get, I can't, these names, I'm going to butcher them. Eoin Daly, E-O-I-N. I want to say it's like an Elvish name.
Okay.
I'm the worst with names, man.
I've never heard.
Not the
Eoin Daly. I really like this. Ava DuVernay directs Black Panther. I think. I want to hear your take.
I don't just love it. I love it.
That is a ringing endorsement from Mr. Snyder.
That's my new catchphrase.
Yeah, I love that.
Who wouldn't want Ava DuVernay directing?
I think that
Black Panther movie. That would be so cool.
That'd be fantastic. In your line of work, because you have your ear to the ground more than I do, admittedly, any kind of sniffing around the Black Panther directors?
I haven't heard anything like that. I'd be surprised if that's the kind of movie that she wants to do.
That's my first thought.
Right.
So
I mean, yes, I think that they're going to hire a major black filmmaker, whether it's her or Ryan Coogler when he's done with Creed, or I don't know. You never know about this Rick Famuyiwa guy who directed Dope at Sundance.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, he has a certain visual style.
And that's not a scoop. That's just a hopeful speculation on your end.
Yeah. No, I'm not tracking any Black Panther directors right now.
Yeah, I don't think
it's a little early.
I think it's pretty early right now. I think there are definitely what I'm getting here, and a lot of people are dropping some Black Panther hopeful news. You know, people really want to know.
When does it come out?
I can't remember. It's 2016.
It is. Okay, then maybe.
Yeah, I think isn't Black Panther being introduced in Civil War, and then he's going to have his own movie after. So, but it's a good call though. I do like that. We did talk about this. I mean, it's a very fine line. Do you want a black director taking on Black Panther? Does it matter?
I don't think that they should have one just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
I think if a white filmmaker came in with a great pitch and a great take on it, then they should actually hear them out.
Yeah.
And I think that is probably where it's going, yes.
Yeah, I think so too. But that's a good one. Jeremy, what do you think of that?
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was like, I don't think race matters when you're directing a movie. If you are the person with the best, like, I don't think race or sex matters. So. Yeah,
I don't either. I mean, I think everyone should get a chance, and I think everyone should come to play. And if you have a good vision, God, I'm going to get behind it no matter what. It's all about the execution, in my opinion.
George Lucas is like, I have a couple of ideas.
Yeah. Was that you last night? Where it's no, we'll leave that on the table.
That was Harloff. He did a really good George Lucas.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good one. So we want to talk about this one because we're gonna jump from here into the news. And Faz, you told me I can call you Faz. So I want Bryan Cranston as the villain of Star Trek 3. And tell Jeremy Jahns he was born awesome-tacular.
Nice.
So that was a good one. So guys, there has been some news that broke that Bryan Cranston is it in talks? Is he circling? Is he rumored? What the hell's going on?
I think that is probably going to work out.
Yeah, I do too. I think it makes a lot of sense.
I think it was Film Divider that put it out. Mm-hmm. He's definitely had meetings at the studio.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if the role was being written with him in mind, since they just brought in a new writer, Simon Pegg, and the other guy, right?
Which I gotta say, Simon Pegg coming in, hell yeah,
it's cool.
It's so cool. That makes it so much better for me. So
and Cranston, I think that there has been a reluctance to play villains recently, just coming off Breaking Bad, but
sure,
you got to play one eventually.
Yeah,
it sounded like he turned down Lex Luthor, or maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I remember hearing him of all things on ESPN.
Maybe that was a bullshit rumor.
Yeah, at least he commented that he was like, I don't know where that's coming from, but thanks.
Yeah. And I had told you before that I had heard Michael Keaton, so it looks like they definitely want an older sort of white guy.
That's right.
For the villain.
Yeah, so I love it. I think anything Bryan Cranston is in just elevates the material.
I think Keaton just chose the Skull Island movie over it, honestly.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Did you just say Walter White was a villain? Father of the Year? Best father since Cosby and...
Well, like, Total Recall didn't work out for him.
I noticed that at a point. I'm like, that guy's cameoing in everything, but I do want to see him as... I mean, even Godzilla, he was kind of a cameo.
Yeah.
But I think Bryan Cranston, in most anything, he's like the Cumberbatch for older dudes. You know what I mean? It's like, he can be in most anything, and it'll probably be good.
Your dad will be at that Star Trek movie.
Yeah.
I know. I'm still trying to get my dad to watch Breaking Bad, and every time he hears the pitch, when I'm like, yeah, it's about a teacher that sells meth, he's like, I don't like
you're saying it wrong.
Yeah.
He cooks meth. He doesn't sell it yet.
Oh, that's right.
You got to pitch it like in the early
pitch it
days.
better.
Yeah.
Well, that's some good ones, guys. So, guys, thank you. Every Wednesday and Thursday, Hopeful News Break, you can drop it in there. You don't even have to wait for the prompt. Just drop it in. You can do it on Monday, Tuesday. I want to hear what you guys are hearing because this is really fun to talk about the speculation. And like Faz, thanks, man, to put out the Bryan Cranston thing. Yeah.
In another galaxy far, far away from Star Trek.
Let's go there right now.
There was a very interesting casting.
Yes.
Felicity Jones.
Guys, Felicity Jones. I want to get some clarification because somebody asked me on Twitter last night. Who dropped that? Was it Deadline? No, it was
Hollywood Reporter.
Hollywood Reporter. Yeah. And is it talks or is it a done deal?
They reported, it's negotiations or whatever. I mean,
so we're talking.
She got it.
She got it. So, but last week we had I don't even know how to say it. It was a site that they didn't get it right. Let's just put it that way. They called Tatiana Bean actually cast.
Right.
It made sense because she was one of the names that were dropped out there. It further made a little bit of sense because she dropped out of her play on Broadway.
Sure.
However, I love this. You actually got a scoop off of doing some digging.
Yes. Well, listen, there's a lot of things that in your brain you can make sense. This person's worked with this person before. It makes sense. I mean, as a reporter, you have to have a higher standard than it makes sense.
Yeah.
So I did some digging and made some calls and I guess the schedule still could have accommodated Star Wars depending on when it actually starts. But yeah, I made some calls and found out she's doing a very little indie with Dane DeHaan called Two Lovers and a Bear.
Yeah.
That's like a Canadian co-production. And so we ran that Friday afternoon. And that is what she dropped out of the play to do. I think there were several factors in her dropping out of the play. Maybe she realized it wasn't a great idea to sign on to it to begin with. I don't know.
There you go. Yeah, there's speculation, there's things, talks happen, they fall apart, as we saw with Joaquin Phoenix and Doctor Strange.
Right.
It just happens a lot.
Yeah, I'm wrong about a ton of stuff every year.
Yeah.
Things that Jake Gyllenhaal and Suicide Squad, where it's like it is him for a day or two, and then, he decides to pass or whatever.
Yeah.
So I get that there is fluidity, but to come out and say that someone has been cast in a movie that size without... real sourcing, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
little irresponsible, that's all.
It was like, going back and looking at that report, it was very general, and a lot of people picked up on it because it's Star Wars. It really is.
Sites will run anything.
Yeah, and we ran it,
as long as it makes sense, to the editors, and then it's things that start to trend online, and then my editors come to me and they're like, well, why aren't you on the Star Wars thing? I'm like, because it's not true.
Wow, so that's an interesting thing on your end.
Right, and so then, 2 days later, Boris got the Felicity Jones thing, and, listen, it makes sense.
Yeah.
My first call was to Imagine, essentially, because she's supposed to do that Dan Brown movie.
Okay.
With Tom Hanks, Inferno, so I was like, is this like a closed deal yet? And basically what I heard is that the Inferno deal is not closed yet, but she's still expected to do it.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a tight squeeze. I wouldn't be surprised if she fell out of Inferno.
Okay.
But I can't imagine Inferno making things so difficult for her that she couldn't do Star Wars. I expect this to close, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I love that. And see, that's great. I mean, you kind of hear the thought process there, guys. That's very interesting. It's like you hear one thing, but then you could kind of put two and two together and you go, wait a minute, she's doing this movie. So let's check on that. And that's what I learned running Schmoes Know is you can't just throw something out there without really taking your time on something, right? We had Mark Grazer from Variety on, and he sat on Robert Downey Jr. for a long time. Mm-hmm. So because he didn't want to put his foot in his mouth, and that's just the way it goes, guys. So, Jeremy, what do you think about all this Star Wars talk? Do you like Felicity?
I do like Felicity Jones, but 1 second. Yeah, that does get your the whole thought process on how you break news. It kind of gives an insight as to what I do and what you do. I'm like, there's a lot of responsibility in what you like. If I go out there and be like, Mark Hamill's going to play an evil Sith Lord in Star Wars Episode 9. If you heard it here first, no one, people will care, and I'll for sure lose credibility, so I don't do that. But it's not like it's like the big damaging thing it would be if I were a source of breaking news.
Yeah,
so,
the trades have a lot of influence. So I think you do have to be careful. We still run early rumors and stuff like that.
But you
that
say the rumors, like, hey, the rumors,
Yeah.
But yeah,
good job.
I would say your Joaquin Phoenix was a really great example because a lot of people were like, I remember, I covered it, and I knew you, and I'm like, oh, this is legit because I know your stuff. Mm-hmm. And some people would, on some of the big geek sites, would say, rumor, Joaquin Phoenix is Doctor Strange. And I'm like, well, rumor, sure, but talks, but he was close. So, you took your time on that as well, and you even told me, can you go back a little bit and tell me your decision making behind running that?
I don't even remember.
Because I remember something you said, like, you know what? It's like, I was hearing enough of it that it's like, yep, I'm running this.
Well, I think that the way that we worded that was that he's the name that has been mentioned most often in connection with the role.
Okay.
So we didn't put him in talks or anything. It was just like, it's clear that he's the choice.
Yeah.
And I think that, honestly, it is about your language, guys, you know? If they had said, what's her name? Tatiana Maslany, close to being cast, like, that is what I had heard. I'd heard that, you know, that initial shortlist came out and it was those two and the Mars.
Yeah.
I'd heard that the Mars were not in the running, really, and that it was Mackenzie Davis.
Mackenzie Davis from *Halt and Catch Fire*. Yeah.
So it was those three, and then I'd heard that they'd pared it down to Tatiana or Felicity, and then once Tatiana got that Dane DeHaan movie, I thought it was kind of clear that it was going to go Felicity's way.
Okay, there you go.
Boris got it.
And there is a language out there, guys. This said cast.
Yeah.
My source says it's a done deal.
Right.
Then I heard somebody else said, yeah, she walked in the room and nailed it, and then that was it.
And then what are there, Fassbender Boba Fett rumors too? Yeah. He's like wearing the same helmet he plays as Magneto or whatever. It's the same thing. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah,
No,
I don't think either.
I think that's a big, and let's geek out a minute. I heard that it's the mantle of Boba Fett is being passed down, and that it doesn't necessarily have to be the clone
It's
anymore.
not going to be the clone guy.
So it can be Fassbender.
Which is interesting because in the special editions or the DVD release, they changed his voice to be Tamara Morrison.
Thank you.
And so I was like, all right, I guess not. I guess not. I'm fine with them. I want them to change it because that first dude sounded like Wolverine from the animation. It was awesome. It was like, he's no good to me, Dad.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're badass.
He was the best.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
We're geeking out.
It's
yeah.
this little Star Wars movie. And Felicity Jones, I want to see her play like an imperial bitch. I want her to be just like the meanest person I've ever seen, you know, because she was so sweet. Usually, look, I'm in Theory of Everything.
Yeah.
I just want her to be evil.
Yeah.
She was great and she's gorgeous. Let me ask you, how was Natalie Portman in those prequels?
Oh, awful.
No.
I love Natalie Portman.
You don't get that vibe at all that this could be a repeat and like
No,
I
because
think
the director behind it.
Yeah, I think Natalie Portman just literally checked out after the 15th green screen, acting alongside a tennis ball.
Did you see that? When they're in the conveyor belt, like it looks like they're in the Sandcrawler in Super Star Wars. They're gonna fight Joanko, the lava beast, and at a point she stops. She looks at George Lucas. She's like, "This is a prank. This can't be real." He was like, "No, it'll look great." And I was like, "That's." And at about that point, I was like, "So that's what happened behind it."
No, yeah, I think we're gonna get. Everybody has,
How much faith do you guys have in Gareth?
I have a lot of faith. I loved
Based
Godzilla.
on Godzilla?
I loved Godzilla.
Okay.
I know. It's. What did you think of Godzilla?
I really liked Godzilla. I for sure was a complete ball tase. I was like, come on, you showed his foot and he's gonna fight, and then you see it on the news, and I'm like, no, But in the end, Godzilla felt it. It felt real. It felt like these monsters. There were these animals. Were fighting in a city. It looked real. It felt real. It was a complete world that they made.
Okay.
And there was enough fan service also where they're like, let them fight. So I was like, yeah, let them fight. So.
For me, it reminded me a lot of Jaws, and it just felt that way. I know not as good as Jaws, but it gave you teases. I liked it. I was roped in. I know a lot of people had trouble with Aaron Taylor, right? What's his name?
Aaron Taylor Johnson. Yeah.
Aaron Taylor Johnson. I didn't have a problem with him. I thought he was fine. I wish Bryan Cranston was in it more.
Yeah, the good thing about in Godzilla, people's gripes about the movie, I can't say they're illegitimate gripes. You know, because a lot of it has to do with Godzilla and the execution of him and when he comes into play and how you don't get to see him. But if you just fall into it, it's a really good movie. Yeah.
Well, and I have faith if the scoop that Slash Film ran. That is a kind of a heist movie getting the Death Star plans. If that's the movie and Gareth Edwards is doing it and Felicity Jones is in it, yeah, I'm in. I have a lot of faith in it. I don't know about this Boba Fett being in it. I just don't know. And I don't know about this Han Solo being in it as well. Young Han Solo. And everybody's saying Aaron Paul is going to be Han Solo. I don't buy that for a second.
Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs, bitch.
Yeah.
I have no idea about the characters or whatever. I've heard Aaron Paul rumors. I've heard
Edgar Ramirez.
Fat Family rumors. I hadn't heard the Edgar Ramirez thing, and it's weird to think that they're being considered for the same role potentially.
Yeah, no, I've heard in addition. So I don't know. I really don't know. I would love to see what Felicity... I think everybody wants to know what this movie is going to be about. And I think Celebration's coming up in April. We might get an announcement from Lucasfilm.
Yeah, the thing about Edgar Ramirez, I mean, doesn't he have to shoot Joy? Jennifer Lawrence movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's... I mean, first of all, I don't even know... She has to squeeze that into a tight window before X-Men.
Right.
So I just wonder if he'd be available for Star Wars.
This is,
That movie's going to go in the spring.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't even know. I can't even trace back where some of these rumors came about. And I kind of been... Let's talk about the Star Wars rumors for a minute. I want to give you my opinion. I tune out a lot. Partly because I'm a fan, and partly because it seems so just clickbait, for lack of a better word. You know, oh, it's Boba Fett passing the mantle. What? You know, it's Aaron Paul as Han Solo. What? You know?
Yeah.
So I am literally tuning out now and not really buying a lot of this unless I see something coming from you or Boris or Variety or even...
I'm just stunned at how many sites there are that like break all these little its and bits of Star Wars news. And like, where are these sources coming from? Who are all these people rushing to tell these fan sites?
Yeah.
This highly sensitive information.
Thank you. If it's coming... You know, there are sites that you can buy. You know, it's like, okay, they have a good track record. They have some sources. You know, you guys, the trades.
Sure.
But when you, like, when it's trending on Facebook and I'm like, who's this? And they're saying that this is, okay.
Right.
That's where it's a little hard. And I do have my writers go, should I cover this? And I go, no, I don't buy it. I don't know who that is. I kind of got roped in, though, with the Tatiana. I believed it and should have done a little bit more.
It was easy to believe. I get it. It made sense.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. So, and kind of going more into the Star Wars stuff, you heard about the Disney going after the guy who leaked the image of the villain? Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't.
No.
Lucasfilm is going after a guy who posted apparently a leaked image of the villain from Episode 7 on Image Shack, and Lucasfilm is really going to go after this kid.
So which means it's a legit image of him.
Darth Simi is the handle. And so, yeah, you don't want to kind of screw with Lucasfilm.
I'm of the opinion that if that stuff leaks, that's on Lucasfilm.
Yeah, they should have had tighter security.
Get your marketing materials under control.
Thank you.
Have better, security with your vendors, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's not,
Yeah, I agree with that, actually. And you know what? For the fans, and if that now Lucasfilm that's legit. That villain is the villain now. If Lucasfilm was trying to sue this guy, that's the villain.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
What I get.
They're not going to sue him over a rumor.
Yeah,
no one's getting sued over the Boba Fett rumor.
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right, let's move on from Star Wars. What else is out there, guys? We got a lot out there. Jeff, you want to talk about something, don't you?
What was it? Remind me.
What were we talking about?
Oh no,
Jesus, that was a fast show here. We're already getting some information that we should probably wrap this up. But we talked about Star Wars, Felicity. We talked about what else did we want to talk about? Amy Pascal.
Oh yeah. So
let's talk about this.
Amy Pascal announced that she is stepping down in May.
Yes.
From the head of Sony. She is getting a ridiculous golden parachute deal.
Oh my God.
Where she is going to be a producer on all future Spider-Man movies and Ghostbusters movies.
They're still making Spider-Man movies.
Apparently, they're in the plans.
Yeah.
But, oh my God.
Yeah.
Why? This is exactly why Spider-Man is not going well, because it was a golden. It was seen as they just treat this franchise as a golden parachute for failed executives.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt Tolmach is the producer with what is it, Avi Arad?
Arad, yeah.
Yeah. I cannot believe that they're giving Pascal that.
Yeah, guys. So
she has driven the franchise and helped drive the franchise into the ground.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. And if you guys didn't know, Amy Pascal, the fallout from the hack. I mean, we pretty much know this was coming. Maybe, possibly. I actually thought she'd be fine, but apparently not. But she's not really being fired. A lot of people are like, she was fired. I'm like, are you fired and then offered a corner office with a producing deal? That doesn't sound fired to me.
Yeah, it's like Lucius Fox in Batman Begins. He's just gonna put her down into the R&D department, and she's hanging out with the bat suit and the tumbler. It's like, get in.
I'll be very curious to see how many movies get made from her production company.
Okay.
Other than Spider-Man and Ghostbusters, which we know are getting made, obviously.
Yeah. So what are you hearing? Because I've seen stories about like this is going to affect Spider-Man. How, in your opinion?
It's going to affect it how? I'm just like, it's just the same decision maker.
Yeah.
She's just on a different side of the decision-making table, so to speak.
Yeah. So
when you say, I don't think it's going to be affected. I think that they're going to have the same plans that they always had.
Yeah, I don't think Spider-Man, now it's kind of settled, these rumors that, Marvel was going to get him back. I don't think it's happening anymore.
Yeah,
I think Spidey's
I just don't know whose decision that is. Is it like the head of Sony Japan? Is it going to be the new studio heads? Is it Michael Linton's? Sony is already stacked with these executives between Linton, Pascal, Robinov, Rothman, DeLuca, and now you're having Amy as an executive. It's too much.
Too many irons in the fire.
Yeah, so that's a good point, guys.
There.
Because I know the fans they want Spidey back at Marvel. I'm sure Marvel wants Spidey back.
Yeah.
I'm sure Kevin Feige drops an email every day. Huh? No.
Yeah.
So, but you're right. Jeff brings up a great point. There are so many layers to this conglomerate. It's not Marvel is sure owned by Disney now, but Sony is so big.
I'm just like, if Doug Belgrad is named the new head of Sony, and Doug Belgrad's like, well, I think it's a great idea to loan the character back to
Marvel
so that they can get its footing again. We can reestablish it in the marketplace. Like, is he allowed to just do that? Does he has to get Kaz in Japan to sign off?
Yeah.
They really need Avi Arad to sign off. It feels like it seems like he's the real gatekeeper.
Yeah, it does.
Of the character.
Yeah, and
they need to just buy him out.
Yeah. And so probably Spidey's not leaving for a while. So maybe it's up to you, Sony, now to kind of check yourself. Get some good people on this. Let the filmmakers do their thing, and we'll have a good Spidey. I'm okay with if you give me a good Spider-Man movie, Sony. I'll be happy and I'll be fine. But I don't know. I don't think it's going anywhere.
Yeah, I've always gone around in my head like, what would make Spider-Man go over there? Like, could they work out a deal where it's like, all right, he's there for Infinity Gauntlet, and from springboarding off of that, Sony gets him back, and then they can do good movies off of that.
It's a great idea.
There are so many things that I've talked about because I really want Spider-Man to be what he was in the 90s, he was the guy. He was my guy, he's my superhero. So I will it happen? No, I don't think so either.
I don't think it will
Especially if in the contract they're like, oh, when you're hanging down there like Lucius Fox, you get all Spider-Man. I'm like, all right, well, it's in the contract, so it's not happening.
So
what do you guys got planned this weekend? Anything exciting?
Well, I'm probably going to go out and get my face tattooed and cut off my nose to look like Red Skull.
That's right.
We wanted to end it on there, so we're going to start wrapping it up. But guys, we right? We wanted to talk about
That's the single greatest story for a couple of reasons. One, he looks like a Cardassian from Star Trek Deep Space Nine with a suntan, or sunburn rather, and he slices off his nose, but he's like, don't touch the beard.
Yeah, right. So guys, it's obviously Casual Friday here at Meet the Movie Press. There is a guy out there that decided he wants to look like Red Skull from Captain America, cut off his nose.
Wait, I thought the nose was already cut off.
No, he got in.
I thought he was making the most of it.
Yeah.
No, he did not turn lemonade out of lemon.
I thought he lost his nose and accident was like, fuck, I might as well just be the Red Skull.
He's like, what would look good?
He did this on purpose.
He did this on purpose. I heard he got an ex-medical student to come in and cut off his nose, because that's what you do.
Yeah, right.
And then he put in these implants, and then he tattooed his face red, and he looks like a monster.
What's with the implants? The funny thing is he also had he tattooed black under his eyes and his cheeks, I think, to have the gaunt look of the Red Skull. Yeah, but I'm like, shading happens from light. Just let the shading happen. You don't have to tattoo your face for shading.
Yeah, that's off the rails, buddy. Please. I don't know.
I don't think he's getting a cameo in Civil War.
No, he's not.
And keep him far away from Chris Evans.
I don't think he's going to be allowed out in public, let alone on a movie set.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. So guys, that's Meet the Movie Press. Thank you as always for joining us. Hey, Jeremy Jahns, where can they find you?
You can find me on YouTube at Jeremy Jahns, Twitter at Jeremy Jahns, Instagram at Jeremy. Facebook though is the different one. It has to be real Jeremy Jahns.
Oh, yeah.
Someone took my name.
there were a lot of fake Jeremy Jahns out there.
Yeah, they're like, nope, I got it.
Guys, next week, we're going to be talking about a little movie called 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, man.
Boy, yeah. Does that mean I have to go see it?
I'm seeing it tonight.
Okay.
I can't wait. I'm also finishing The Shield this weekend, which I'm pretty pumped for.
Oh, nice. That sounds good. Yeah, guys, you can find me at RileyAround on Twitter and at schmoesknow.com. And, guys, be sure to go on your smartphone now or tablet. Go to schmoesknow.com. We got a great new mobile site. It's awesome. Hit this little button there to save to your home screen. It saves as an app. You get all your movie news there. Jeff, where can they find you?
At The Insnider on Twitter. You can find my musings at therap.com. Tell your parents to love me.
I will. So, guys, we'll see you next week. Be sure to rate, subscribe on iTunes. Keeps the lights on here, guys. Thanks as always. Peace out.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Christian Harloff, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.